Stockholm, Sknsn. A few years ago at Sknsn, the great park just outside of Stockholm, where they've collected so many wonderful things, there lived a little old man named Clement Larsson. He was from Hälsingland and had come to Sknsn with his fiddle to play folk dances and other old melodies. As a performer, he appeared mostly in the evening. During the day, it was his business to sit on guard in one of the many pretty peasant cottages which had been moved to Sknsn from all parts of the country. In the beginning, Clement thought that he fared better in his old age than he'd ever dared dream. But after a time, he began to dislike the place terribly, especially while he was on watch duty. It was all very well when visitors came into the cottage to look around, but some days Clement would sit for many hours all alone. Then he felt so homesick that he feared that he would have to give up his place. He was very poor, and he knew that at home he would become a charge on the parish. Therefore, he tried to hold out as long as he could, although he felt more unhappy from day to day. One beautiful evening in the beginning of May, Clement had been granted a few hours' leave of absence. He was on his way down the steep hill leading out of Sknsn when he met an island fisherman coming along with his game bag. The fisherman was an active young man who came to Sknsn with seafowl that he had managed to capture alive. Clement had met him before, many times. The fisherman stopped Clement to ask if the superintendent at Sknsn was at home. When Clement had replied, he, in turn, asked what choice thing the fisherman had in his bag. "You can see what I have," the fisherman answered, "if in return you will give me an idea as to what I should ask for it." He held open the bag, and Clement peeped into it at once, and again, then drew back a step or two. "Good gracious, Ashbjorn!" he exclaimed. "How did you catch that one?" He remembered that, when he was a child, his mother used to talk of the tiny folk who lived under the cabin floor. He was not permitted to cry or be naughty, lest he provoke these small people. After he was grown, he believed his mother had made these stories about the elves to make him behave himself. But it had been no invention of his mother's, it seemed, for there, in Ashbjorn's bag, lay one of the tiny folk. There was a little of the terror natural to childhood left in Clement, and he felt a shudder run down his spinal column as he peeped into the bag. Ashbjorn saw that he was frightened and began to laugh, but Clement took the matter seriously. "Tell me, Ashbjorn, where you came across him?" he asked. "You may be sure that I wasn't lying in wait for him," said Ashbjorn. "He came to me. I started out early this morning and took my rifle along into the boat. I had just pulled away from the shore when I sighted some wild geese coming from the east, shrieking like mad. I sent them a shot, but hit none of them. Instead, this creature came tumbling down into the water, so close to the boat that I only had to put my hand out to pick him up." "I hope you didn't shoot him, Ashbjorn." "Oh, no, he is well and sound, but when he came down, he was a little dazed at first. So I took advantage of the fact to wind the ends of 2 sail threads around his ankles and wrists so that he couldn't run away. Ha! Here's something for Sknsn, I thought instantly." Clement grew strangely troubled as the fisherman talked. All that he had heard about the tiny folk in his childhood, of their vindictiveness towards enemies and their benevolence towards friends, came back to him. It had never gone well with those who had attempted to hold one of them captive. "You should have let him go at once, Ashbjorn," said Clement. "I came precious near being forced to set him free," returned the fisherman. You may as well know, Clement, that the wild geese followed me all the way home, and they crisscrossed over the island the whole morning, honking as if they wanted him back. Not only they, but the entire population, seagulls, sea swallows, and many others who are not worth a shot of powder, alighted on the island and made an awful racket. When I came out, they were fluttering about me until I had to turn back. My wife begged me to let him go, but I had made up my mind that he should come here to Sknsn, so I placed one of the children's dolls in the window and hid the midget in the bottom of my bag and started away. The birds must have fancied that it was he who stood in the window, for they permitted me to leave without pursuing me." "Does it say anything?" asked Clement. "Yes, at first he tried to call to the birds, but I wouldn't have it, and put a gag in his mouth." "Oh, Ashbjorn," protested Clement, "how can you treat him so? Don't you see that he is something supernatural?" I don't know what he is, said Ashburn calmly. Let others consider that. I'm satisfied if only I can get a good sum for him. Now tell me, Clement, what you think the doctor at Sknsn will give me. There was a long pause before Clement replied. He felt very sorry for the poor little chap. He actually imagined that his mother was standing beside him, telling him that he must always be kind to the tiny folk. I've no idea what the doctor up there would care to give you, Ashbourne, he said finally, but if you will leave him with me, I will pay you 20 kroner for him. Ashburn stared at the fiddler in amazement when he heard him name so large a sum. He thought that Clement believed that the midget had some mysterious power and might be of service for him. He was by no means certain that the doctor would think him such a great find or would offer to pay so high a sum for him, so he accepted Clement's offer. The fiddler poked his purchase into one of his wide pockets, turned back to Sknsn, and went into a moss-covered hut where there were neither visitors nor guards. He closed the door after him, took out the midget, who was still bound hand and foot and gagged, and laid him down gently on a bench. Now listen to what I say, said Clement. I know, of course, that such as you do not like to be seen of men, but prefer to go about and busy yourselves in your own way. Therefore I have decided to give you your liberty, but only on condition that you will remain in this park until I permit you to leave. If you agree to this, nod your head 3 times. Clement gazed at the midget with confident expectation, but the latter did not move a muscle. You shall not fare badly, continued Clement. I'll see to it that you are fed every day and you have so much to do that the time will not seem long to you. But you mustn't go elsewhere till I give you leave. Now we'll agree as to a signal. So long as I set your food out in a white bowl, you are to stay. When I set it out in a blue one, you may go. Clement paused again, expecting the midget to give the sign of approval, but he did not stir. Very well, said Clement. There's no choice but to show you to the master of this place. Then you'll be put in a glass case, and all the people in the big city of Stlkhm will come and stare at you. This scared the midget, and he promptly gave the signal. That was right, said Clement, as he cut the cord that bound the midget's hands. Then he hurried towards the door. The boy unloosed hands around his ankles and tore away the gag before thinking of anything else. When he turned to Clement to thank him, he had gone. Just outside the door, Clement met a handsome, noble-looking gentleman who was on his way to a place close by from which there was a beautiful outlook. Clement could not recall having seen the stately old man before, but the latter must surely have noticed Clement sometimes when he was playing the fiddle, because he stopped and spoke to him. Good day, Clement, he said. How do you do? You're not ill, are you? I think you have grown a bit thin of late. There was such an expression of kindness about the old gentleman that Clement plucked up courage and told him of his homesickness. What? Exclaimed the old gentleman. Are you homesick when you are in Stockholm? It can't be possible.